Oh, right. Now we're talking about the recent lawsuit between the Marvin Gaye estate and Ed Sheeran for allegedly stealing I guess you could say the music or the beat, the tune. I'm sorry, I'm not music savvy when it comes down to the technical aspects, but basically they're claiming that his hit song, Thinking Out Loud, was ripping off Marvin Gaye's Let's Getting On. It's almost like a mirror to Robin Thicke and Pharrell being sued for blurred lines because it sounded like Got to Give It Up. And, that was an obvious copy and paste right there. And from that, the estate won what? I know it was a multi-million-dollar victory in terms of the lawsuit. I think, what was it, like 7.2 or more million dollars they won? But they're actually suing Ed Sheeran $100 million, and that's crazy. I mean, to be honest, I've never been a huge fan, but of Ed Sheeran. Oh my God, I listened to every song on the album. No. What was it? Thinking Out Loud's pretty good, and what was the song before that? The Shape of You. That was actually one of those like techno songs I remember listening to in a Target or elevator. It was like, yo, this is pretty sweet. But I've never listened to Thinking Out Loud on repeat to the point where, yo, this sounds like Let's Get It On. I never really thought that, but I remember watching the news report on Good Morning America sometime last week, and they played a snippet of Let's Get It On for 15 seconds, then played Thinking Out Loud, and I'm like, oh damn, this does sound alike, because honestly, Thinking Out Loud is like a slowed down version of Let's Get It On, and we know that song is kind of slow in itself. But yeah, I mean, I didn't hear it when I first heard the song, but after listening to the report, this is kind of like the Yanni and Laurel of June 2018. Oh, I mean, the story broke late June, but obviously it's going to roll over into July. But I actually shared the post on my Facebook page, the Good Morning America Facebook page, put the video up, and I shared it, just to see, what my friends would think, because I kind of already knew. And again, I don't want to make it seem like, it's about race and all that stuff, but let me just put it this way. I put it on my page just to kind of see the feedback from my friends, just see, if I was the only one that heard it. And I got about a dozen comments on it. The people who said the lawsuit was ridiculous, it's just frivolous. I mean, some of them that said that actually posted, links to saying there are only 4 basic chords when it comes to the world of music. They were all white people. But on the flip side, the people who were like, yeah, I heard it the first time, and it's definitely Let's Get It On, were the black people. Like one of them, he's actually a musician himself. He's like, yeah, it's like, I heard it. I remember one time me and my girl were at a restaurant. There was like a jukebox there, and somebody played Let's Get It On, and then the next thing you know, they played Thinking Out Loud, and we heard it then. But yeah, I don't know if the fact that the chords are the same is enough for a lawsuit though. But yeah, it definitely is the same thing. And I really thought the same thing would be the result of the post, where I feel like the people who would say it wasn't a ripoff would be white, whereas the people who were like, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, would be black. I'm just, hey, observations, just saying. And it goes back to how people talk about culture vulturing and whatnot. Like people say that about Bruno Mars and whatnot. I love Bruno Mars. Like 24 Karat album, definitely one of my favorite albums in recent years. I'm just a fan of that. Like, I'm not against profanity and whatnot, but I prefer listening to music where it doesn't have to be bleeped out every other word in like a televised event like the BET Awards. That's why I really don't watch that anymore, because like the rappers and all that stuff today, like nothing against them. Like, hey, get your money, people pay. Like, I can't hate on you because you got money, because you make the music. The people are the ones who pay for it and whatnot, and that's how you get to where you are. But personally speaking, I'm not really a fan of recent artists like that in the rap game and whatnot. So I don't really like looking at those award shows, because you really don't know you really don't hear any of the lyrics because they're constantly being bleeped out. But 24 Karat, Bruno came, put his songs together, that track list, and boom, you can listen from start to finish. And it's like a mixture of different sounds and tunes. So when he swept at the Grammys, while people like Jay-Z didn't win a thing, I didn't really mind. Like the 444 album was, a different Jay-Z album. And it's not a bad album, but at the same time, it's not something that I listen to consistently. So when Bruno Mars clean house, they talk about, man, he's a culture vulture and whatnot, and he literally says up front, you know, like this was an album dedicated to like the likes of like a Prince, Babyface, Michael Jackson, the music I grew up off, which I actually love that music to begin with. I'm okay with it. But when it comes to, you know, when white people take black culture in order to monetize off it, oh, well, you know, a lot of white people are like, man, hey, man, you ain't no copying and whatnot. But if it was a black person, like, you can imagine what if it was The Weeknd being charged with taking, well, let me think of a blacker example. Somebody who's, you know, more into, shoot. See, this is what happens when you don't know a lot of these artists. Give me a second. This, I feel very bad because I don't know a lot of current artists right now, because, you know, a lot of these artists who are older are, you know, making new stuff. Like Justin Timberlake had that album, what was it, Man of the Woods or something. I ain't listen to that. Shoot. Well, I mean, white people were mad at Michael Jackson when he bought the Beatles catalog, but now they aren't mad because, you know, Ed Sheeran allegedly took from Marvin Gaye. So yeah, I guess that's the best example I got. But let's just say, you know, we thought the worst atrocity that white artists could do to black music would be Taylor Swift and her cover of Earth, Wind & Fire September. But allegedly Ed Sheeran stole music from Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Again, I don't know. Like, I'm not a musician. I'm not in the legal business. I'm just knowing my ears heard. So I'm interested to see how this turns out, because obviously a lot of people are just saying that the Marvin Gaye family or the estate is literally just going after money. And to be honest, you know, who knows? But hopefully justice gets served. You know, everything gets settled out. But damn, $100 million. I mean, regardless of what happens in this case, I think that this is going to change the music industry in terms of how artists really do their research before putting out new music, you know, just to make sure there's no copyright or infringement going on. But let me know what you think. Like, I would have put clips of the songs in this video, but my gosh, Lord have mercy, I don't want the Marvin Gaye estate suing my channel, so we don't want that to happen. But definitely go on YouTube or Spotify, listen to like the first maybe 30 to 45 seconds of Let's Get It On, then switch over to Thinking Out Loud, and then tell me what you think. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because aside from, you know, the occasional entertainment, music, and just sometimes life videos, I do, of course, Tyler Perry related content. So thanks so much for tuning in. Everybody have a wonderful day.